What is going on? It is Jaret here with the 941. Man, we are back in hype for football season. Your favorite NFL team is back at training camp, fall camp, and here in the 941 is back for high school teams. And man, things have been going crazy here locally, all right? Big players moving to other schools, and I mean, a lot of these teams at the last second got an ultra boost of talent, and we are so hyped for the season because these teams were already good. A lot of these teams already had high hopes, and now a lot of these matchups, when you look at them, are going to be so good, so epic. And I mean, let's just hop right into it. Over on X, Rojas Talks Tampa, I wrote an article breaking down the best games in the 941 throughout the season, straight up. Week 0 through 11, we're going to be breaking down a whole bunch of these games from the first week to the last one. And I mean, let's just hop right into it, all right? So for the first one, I mean, week 0, kickoff classic, same as last year. We got St. Thomas Aquinas coming up to Cardinal Mooney and taking on the Cougars right here in Sarasota, all right? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts. Last year, St. Thomas, they took a win in the preseason game. It was 22-14. And this year, they're going to come up to Sarasota, and 100% is going to be a good game. A lot of talent, of course, yes. This year, though, because St. Thomas in 5A, Cardinal Mooney in 2A, all right, it's going to be different, all right? Last year in the preseason game, you know, they're in different divisions. They can't play each other in the state championship or in the playoffs. They all know that. Now, the situation is different with the open division. You have these two teams playing each other. And so, hey, maybe you take out Davin early in the game or at halftime or whatever it may be. Or maybe you just don't show your full cards. Same thing with St. Thomas, all right? You don't want to get anyone hurt, same thing. But this game is different than last time because these two teams can see each other in the open division playoff or maybe even in the open division championship, which would be crazy going back to this, but 100%. This game is going to be the game of the year. You feel me? He knows what's up. This is probably going to be, I mean, game of the year. It's the preseason game. You feel me? So it's going to be a good game. But like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how these coaches play it out. And, I mean, everybody should be there for that game on Fruitville. That game should be packed, sold out, all that. We got to show out for the city on that one, all right? For week 1, I mean, every game is as equally important. 0-0. Every team has a chance to win, go 1-0, undefeated for the week and for the season. But for me, I'm a Manatee graduate. And so, yeah, not only does Manatee have a huge game, but when I was young, they played this team in the 2009 state championship and fell short to Plant in Tampa. And Manatee is going to go up there and play them for the first time literally since the state championship of 2009, as crazy as it is. I mean, you got Coach Ace Sanders and Breon Carnes, who was on that team. You got Mike Blakely Jr., 100%. That was a legendary offense. And so you look at it now, same, I mean, not even now. You got to look at the Plant side, too. They had James Wilder Jr. in 2009. He was a junior, like I said, two-way player, linebacker, great, and a great running back as well. One of the best high school players that my eyes have ever seen, at least. And so, I mean, yeah, going forward to this year, that's exciting and all that, 100%, to think about 2009, first time since then. And so now, like I said, these teams, they may not be the same powerhouses as they were in 2009. I mean, both teams are coming off a losing season, unfortunately. I think they both finished a game under 500. And, 100%, Manatee is looking to right their wrong from a year ago, all right? And this matchup is going to feature 2029 starting quarterbacks. Manatee's Nolan Down. We already know Nolan is going to be the starter, and he's going to have a big year. He's slated to have a huge year. You got weapons like TJ Powell and Elijah Christian, who was already here. Dino DeLacas, he played with last year at IMG, and we already know Caden White. So the offense should be nice, all right? For Plant, they're going to be in the same situation. They have Aiden Alexander, sophomore starter. He's coming over from Jesuit last year. He was a freshman. Got to see some playing time, but it's going to be exciting this time around to see, you know, what these guys have. It's two young quarterbacks who are ahead of their time, of course. They're starting for their high school football team. But it's going to be, you know, who can stay poised the longest, who can make the least amount of mistakes. And I'm just excited to see Nolan go back and sling it to his guys. And that's just what we're ready for here at Manatee. So week 1, go up there, and it's going to be a big one. Should be good vibes and a good atmosphere. And let's hope that, Manatee can bring it home for the 9-4-1 and finish 1-0. Now for week 2, this one really might be a game of the year candidate as, Cardinal Mooney's first game against St. Thomas is in the preseason, but this one is week 2. It counts. It's all that. It's going to be hyped up. Same thing. Cardinal Newman from West Palm Beach will be coming up to Sarasota to take on Cardinal Mooney. Same thing. 2 state champions, Cardinal Newman in 1A last year and Cardinal Mooney 2A last year. And yes, 100%. Newman, they're not going to have the luxury of bringing back their state championship QB like the Cougars are in Davin Davidson, but they'll be bringing in quarterback Pedro Martinez Jr. He's going to be a junior this year, 2028 graduate, and he's going to bring that same dual threat type of vibe last year as Jaret Rojas did, and 100%. That's what the Cardinal Mooney defense is going to have to be ready for. They're going to have to stay true on their assignments, and absolutely, that's what Caleb Exum is brought over to Cardinal Mooney for, because you're not going to go up the gut. You're going to have to try those guys on the edge with that RPO, and 100%. If Mooney, you don't let that offense get going early, because then you're going to have to test the DBs with Marion McCray and Jordan and Jared Sanders. They got some dogs in the secondary. You definitely got some dogs up front and on the O-line too. So, hey, can Mooney pull it off? They're trying to go for that undefeated season, of course. And so you're going to see St. Thomas in that first game. You got to get some good work in, because week 2, you're already coming out against Cardinal Newman. They're playing dogs all year, Cardinal Mooney is. So it will be exciting to see their season as it goes along. But this will be a big one. Same thing. You should be there on Fruitville Road and turning that thing up for the Cougars, because we want to see 9-4-1 go up. And so with that, we will go to week 3. And this game, when we talk about games of the year, once again, it needs no introduction, all right? Venice and Lakeland, familiar foes, straight up. They know each other well. I believe it was 2023 in the state championship last time they saw each other. And this is just hype. If you want to say a word for it, it's hype. Everyone's hyped up for this one. It's 2 great teams. You're traveling up to Lakeland. They always have an atmosphere, as does Venice. So it's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be a good game. Venice, you already know the deal with Noah Patton and Tyree Mannings Jr. Lakeland, that's what you really have to focus on, all right? Because if you can't stop Tyree, they will keep going and exposing you. They will keep doing it. And of course, you got to stop not only Dorian Jones as Macho, but you got Ira Dale. You just have so many weapons as the season goes on. We're going to see that Venice has not only top talent, but depth behind it. So same thing, Lakeland. Lakeland is going to be good with Coach Marvin Frazier. He's been successful since he's been there. And Lakeland, it's hard to ever doubt Lakeland, all right? You can't ever doubt Lakeland. But in this game, we're going to have to be pulling for the 9-4-1 team. And you already know how it goes, man. Coach John Peacock is going to have his team ready. And if you can't go, at least have this one up on the stream, because this will be a doozy. Like I said, another game of the year candidate real early on, because a lot of these early season games, they're not district, and a lot of teams are facing each other, a lot of big talent and all that stuff. And so week 3, another one is Port Charlotte versus the First Academy. All right, the First Academy last year I saw at Venice. Great game, epic game, and it showed me who the First Academy was. I really wasn't familiar all the way, but I was tapped in that day. They made sure I knew who the First Academy was, the Royals, and then later on in the season, they bring up their 8th grade quarterback, however you do that, Anthony Deuce Woods, and he ended up beating Lakeland. So the hype for this First Academy team is warranted, 100%. 9th grade freshman quarterback, way ahead of his time, already has offers, plenty of them and all that. But on the other side of it, you have an experienced, fully committed, all of that, Logan Flaherty. It is going to be a battle of the quarterbacks, and you have one experienced. It feels like he's a veteran out there almost. I feel like he's been playing since he's a freshman too. And Anthony Woods is going to go crazy all season. But in this game specifically, that's going to be the quarterback matchup to see. Of course, you have Elias Pearl. And of course, the First Academy has, some very, very, very talented players on both sides of the ball. But at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down. That's what I'll be watching. Which quarterback is going off? Logan has to use his experience and has to, just decision making and all that stuff, as poor Charlotte needs to make Anthony Woods, his inexperience, make him pay for it. But if you're able to let him get explosive and dial in, it's going to be tough. So I know that both teams are going to be great. That's why I circled this one on the calendar as the same week as Venice and Lakeland, but 100%, man. Well, we're moving on. Yeah, week 4, you're already in the middle of the season. Wow, it happens quick. It really does. It's about 2.5 months the season is. And I think at week 4, week 5 was when you start getting into the district games. So, with this one, it's just another one. Maybe not hype in the traditional sense of where nationally people are looking at it like Venice and Lakeland. But if you're here locally watching 941 football, Bayshore and Southeast is going to be a good game this year, all right? It's going to be great. 2 programs who are just going up and who have turned around in the past couple of years. Bayshore behind Coach A. Sanders and defensive coordinator Dominique Rogers-Cromartie. Southeast under Coach Kurt Bradley. And like I'm saying, both of these guys, they're not only making their players great on the field and in the classroom, but they're making sure they're going to be great men and great leaders after that. You know what I mean? And you're seeing how much they care. Bruh, football is great and all that, but the real wins are outside of that. And you're seeing it. They're changing cultures straight up is what it feels like. I'm seeing it in, firsthand with Bayshore and Southeast. And last year, you want to talk about what happened with them. They in 2025, they did see each other. I was there at the kickoff classic at Southeast. That's where I first saw TJ Powell. He kind of did his thing in that one too, but that was just, what really showed me, these teams are actually passionate behind their new leadership and all that. Even at the kickoff classic, it was a good game. And so move on throughout the season, and Bayshore ends up at 4-6. They ended up 4-6, albeit they played a tough schedule, and they're in a different division as Southeast. And so Bayshore was able to sneak into the playoffs at 4-6, and absolutely it was warranted because they ended up winning a playoff game and they did their thing. But you look at Southeast, they went 8-2 and they put up big numbers throughout the season, but somehow they didn't make the playoffs. But it is what it was, all right? It's the strength of schedule, obviously which division you're in, and it stunk for the 941 because that Southeast team was great. I feel bad for a lot of those seniors and everybody on that team for sure, because we all wanted to see what they could do in the playoffs. But fast forward to today, that sparked a lot of conversation here locally. Who can change anything on Booker or on Bayshore? Who can change that? They made the playoffs and they took care of business when they made the playoffs, all right? But this year, words have been spoken, things have been exchanged, and now they're lining up against each other, and it's going to be a great matchup, all right? It's not a rivalry, but it really might be sparking up a rivalry here between these two teams, and it's a local great thing. And like I'm saying, man, these two teams, they're on an uptrend. They got players who, Camden Stansel on Bayshore. You got Braden Smith, who just got the Notre Dame offer. You know what I mean? These are things that haven't been seen at Bayshore, and this is just turning it around to be something great, all right? For Southeast, it's the same thing, man. You got Mason Summer. You got a handful of those Booker players, as so did Bayshore. But, man, it's just crazy how this matchup, how quickly things can change. A few years ago, people look at Bayshore and Southeast and may not be as hyped. But now, today, this is circled on my calendar at least. I want to see what happens in this one. These are two good teams. So I'm excited, to say the least, in week 4. And teams will be taking bye weeks at this point, and district games will be getting started up. So these games will be important, but sometimes it's a little backstory that makes these games even more important for these teams. So with that, we'll be moving on to week 5, and we got Parrish at Sarasota. Last year they played at Sarasota, and it was a close game, all right? Despite the records, Parrish was 8-1, and Sarasota was 4-5, but the game was close, all right? It was 35-28. Last game of the season, okay? But what stuck out was, the fight from Sarasota, and then sophomore Hudson West, he showed what he had, all right? He has the size and he has the arm, but now we're trying to see that translate into success on the field, and that is what showed people that he can put up yards, he can put the ball where it needs to be, and they're gonna want to see more this year, all right? They're gonna want to see more big plays and all that, yes, but they want to see wins and management of the game. And so that's where Wes is going to have to take a step forward and, just be the guy that he can be going into all these camps. He's getting different offers from big schools. And so, he is a big name here locally where a lot of people think he could be a starting quarterback at the next level one day. So Hudson, I'm hyped to see him and all of the team. Jaden Montgomery, Jaden Rivers, he has weapons on that side of the ball. So that shouldn't be a concern for me. I just want to see that defense turn up. And under Coach Campbell, he's going to instill those guys to, do their best and more success than last season, 100%. All right. So excited for Sarasota. And in this one, 100%, you got to be excited for Parrish as well, too. They came off a huge year last year. They ended up losing in the playoffs, but they had a great year. All right. Multiple guys, coming back. And another big change is head coach Cody McNear. All right. He was an assistant there last year and a few years before that. So he knows the system. He knows the guys and all that, 100% familiar with this matchup from last year. Okay. But what's going to be, it's interesting to see is how quickly can you change this into your team with your culture. All right. And he didn't waste any time. All right. This man, Cody, is in the weight room. He's a personal trainer, Coach McNear, and you can see it right away translating to his players. All right. You can see Ty Baker. All right. Is one of the players who came back. All right, from summer camps, and bro, this man is breaking school records as far as weightlifting. He's benching, breaking bench records and all that, and he's only going to be a junior. All right, so going to be a linebacker, not somebody I want to see in the trenches. All right, and they got Juan Miguel Tordesillas, a receiver, and Christopher Larson. So they got some guys on like I said, both sides of the ball. But excited to see how Cody McNear can turn this team, or they were already great. How can you take the momentum from years past, 3 straight playoff appearances for the Bulls, and the fans, they want to see another one. So good luck to both of these teams. This will be a great game, as it was last year. 2 teams who are in Sarasota trying to get back to the playoffs, trying to have a winning season. And for Parrish, they absolutely want to see the same thing under a new head coach this time. So we'll be tapped into this one. Week 5, it's going to be a good game. And, like I'm saying, at week 5, you're there. At the midpoint of the season, it's an evaluation checkpoint, all right? You need this lock in. Who are we? You already know. Where are we right now, all right? What's our record? Who do we still have? Unfortunately, there may be guys hurt or whatever. But, week 6, just take a deep breath, see just the whole scale of things, all right? So in week 6, you will have Venice versus Sarasota, Palmetto at Parrish Community, Manatee at Sumner, Southeast versus Booker, Cardinal Mooney versus Braden River, St. Stephen's at Marco Academy, Port Charlotte at South Fort Myers. Bayshore will have a bye week, and a few other games will be happening as well, but 100%. This is going to be, I believe, a lot of district games going on this week. Who's to say where teams will be at this point of the season? I'm sure a few of these games are going to be elite and we'll have premier records, winning records going up against each other. But we will have to wait and see for that one because, I couldn't choose one out on this week. There were so many good games, so many games to go to. And yeah, week 6, like I'm saying, still, bye weeks are happening. A lot of things are going on, but district games are in play. And at this point in the season, you got to be playing your best. So yeah, you got Cardinal Mooney versus Clearwater Central Catholic. Same thing. They played each other last year. An epic game, all right? Week 7, both teams made, obviously, deep playoff runs. Cardinal Mooney winning 2A, and CCC went 10-3. They went deep into 1A. I believe they went either, to the Final Four or a game before that. But, yeah, they have some dogs, all right? Kais Barrett is going to be the quarterback, and that's their guy, all right? He's running the ball. He's throwing the ball. He's their guy, all right? So you got to tackle him, and like I'm saying, Cardinal Mooney, that's what I feel like they've circled their team around. Your quarterback is going to be elite this year, but you got to have a defense who can match up against anybody, especially if you want to win that open division. So they brought in some guys to do that. And, like I'm saying, Cardinal Mooney, they want to be undefeated. They want to win every game. And this is one of those ones where, last year they handled CCC pretty well, but don't sleep even one game, especially in this one because that's one of the best teams they'll play. And I'm sure that won't be an issue at all for the Cougars. So excited for week 7. And man, in week 8, you have a crazy one. It's going to be Manatee versus Palmetto. this year's edition will be at Manatee in Bradenton. It's going to be a crazy, crazy game, man. Last year, Palmetto did that. They handled Manatee at home 31-13. And, I mean, they just controlled the game. They controlled the offense. Their defense was able to suppress things. And, of course, Michael Galloway, Brandon, he was snapping, doing his thing, flipping the field, attempting long field goals. And I'm sure it's going to be more of the same this year. Not only in this game, but throughout the whole year. So, in this one specifically, I mean, yeah, Matthew Hennessy, he'll be snapping, all right? You got the weapons, you got the guys, and Manatee's defense will have their hands full, 100%. They are going to have to watch last year's film, see how he was able to have success, and suppress it from there. You already know, like Manatees should be doing all year. They should be putting up points, and this is going to be one of those games where the pressure will be on. Nolan, he's a sophomore, man. He is, all right? And he's played last year, and he won a state championship as a freshman, all right? So he's got the experience. It's just going to have to be against the senior, limit the mistakes, and just use your talent to the best of their ability because, man, Manatee, I can only talk about the talent they have at receiver so much. And this one, especially because Palmetto has good talent as well. But we'll see, man. This one, it should look a little bit different as far as how many points Manatee scores this year because, yeah, the quarterback play won't be an issue. It's going to be on point, and that's how it should be, 100%. So you can only talk about Manatee versus Palmetto so much because, man, the rivalry is so big. Ace Luther, you're watching the highlights, and you just see so many dogs on both sides of the field. And I'm excited for this one. This has always been the Cross River rivalry. I've always seen it, and it's always been, wild and all that. Manatee has had the success historically, but last year Palmetto won, and they feel like they can do it again. So Manatee is going to have to really come in with that chip on their shoulder and defend the crib because it's going to be a great game, and I'm excited for it 100%. In week 8. In week 9, we will have another huge one, man. It's going to be Riverview hosting Venice, all right? And it's a district game, and it's circled around their schedules and all that. This one is going to be big, all right? Last year, Venice hosted this game, and Tyree Manning's put up almost 200 yards, okay? So, Riverview, they're going to have to really slow things down on defense and contain that man because you know what he can do, all right? You've already experienced it, okay? It's going to be tough. They have multiple weapons, not just Tyree, but if you let him go off, it's going to be tough, all right? They fell behind early. You don't want to do that again, all right? Logan Carrillo, senior quarterback. You look at the social media team of Riverview, and every single day they're posting another big receiver, another fast slot receiver, all right? Those guys got weapons over there too, okay? They got 2029 running back CJ Obaseki. He got the Miami offer, all right? So they got weapons. There's nothing to say about that. But defensively, y'all have to stop Venice and don't allow the game to get out of hand like it did, all right? Allow your senior quarterback, Carrillo, to vibe into this game and set back and do his thing against Venice, all right? I'm excited to see CJ Obaseki throughout the whole year, 100%, same thing. But, yeah, just throughout the whole county, Riverview is one of those teams that is, undercovered. They are. They don't have enough coverage about what they're doing and at what level they are doing it, all right? They're 9-2-1 a season ago. It was Mark Cristiani's first season. And, I mean, it is what it is. He did great. He had a great season. Trying to do it again. Trying to further instill the culture, and same thing. They got some kids from Booker. They got some dogs who are going to make a difference, and super pumped for this season. Super pumped for this game. This will be a big one, all right? This will be a huge one down there in Riverview, and let's see, all right? Let's see. Venice, it's going to be the same case for them, all right? At this point, it'll be week 9. They're going to want to win, or they're going to want to have lost 0 or 1 game. They're going to want to be pushing for the open division. They're going to want to be pushing for the state championship. So, big game for Venice. Big game for Braden Rivers, our next game. Big game for Riverview. And we will be getting more into Riverview as the preseason goes on. So, stay tuned for that. And we are winding down the regular season. This is it. So, week 10 is, you got week 11 as well. But for some of the teams, it'll be it. All right. Braden River versus Bayshore is a game that, I got circled this late in this season because who really knows, all right? Who really knows a lot of these really good teams will be playing district games. Maybe they're favored by a lot. This game right here, if both teams are finding success, having a good season, this game could come down to playoff implications. And same thing, it's a district game. Yes, you have Cardinal Mooney in your district, and they'll probably win it. But Braden, River, and Bayshore could be fighting for a playoff spot and to get in and make that push, as Bayshore did last year, and they ended up winning the playoff game, all right? Each game is important, but the district games are super important. And when you come down this late in the season, I mean, yeah, Braden River with their new coach, they're going to be trying to do their thing, all right? They got senior quarterback Luisin DeSonor, and I mean, bro, he did his thing last year as a junior. He started every game, but in the spring game, he showed what he's capable of. And with another season of, learning, understanding the quarterback position, I mean, that's a player that you're hyped to see, okay? Braden River, last year, this game is so important because Braden River fell 42-7 to Bayshore. Bayshore really put it on them. And so, I mean, you think about that. No way you can allow that to happen again. Coach A. Sanders is going to be ready for this one. He's going to be ready for every single game. But for the district games, I'm sure the Bayshore Bruins will be coming correct. And like I said, are some more, big-time name teams out there or whatever. But this one, as far as playoff implications and the 9-4-1, this will be a big one for sure. So we'll be tuned into that one. Some other games that are big in Week 10 is Manatee at Parrish Community, all right? That's their first ever meeting. That'll be a big one. I might be there. Who knows, all right? And then another one is Riverview at Sarasota. That's got some history as well. 2 Sarasota teams going at it, all right? But for Week 11, all right, it doesn't really need any introduction. If you know, all right? Manatee at Southeast is going to be crazy, all right? You watched last year's game, and yeah, Manatee handled that game, all right? Things looked different last year, all right? They really did. Now, this year, your old QB1 is going to be on the other sideline, and it's going to feel different. It's just going to feel real different, okay? Mason Summer is someone who I've covered for a while, all right? He's had his way. He's had his battles or whatever to get on this field and to make it happen. And last year in the playoffs, he did, all right? He did, and he showed what he can do. He's a starting quarterback in this high school, all right? He's a senior, and you know what he's capable of doing, all right? This year at Southeast, they got a haul of talent. They were already good last year, and they got a handful of talent brought over, and this is just going to be a crazy, crazy game, man. This one's going to be nuts. For Manatee, same thing. You got Tavares T.J. Powell. Last year at Southeast, he saw this game last year too, and he's going to want to put it up against his old team. You don't think he's going to want to do that? I'm expecting him to put up some big plays in this one too. But yeah, man, it's going to be nuts. The energy is going to be there. It's the last game of the year too, so just everything involved. It's good. Hey, who knows? It might have playoff implications. It's going to be a crazy game. So we'll be there for that one. We'll be showing you what happens for that one. Really no words to describe how, deep this one gets as far as, old teammates facing each other. And for Southeast, they're expecting a big year. So this will be a big one. A lot of Southeast Seminoles expect not only to win a lot of games, but maybe to beat Manatee as well. So we will see with that one. And same thing, a whole bunch of good games, Week 11, and at the very end of the season. But, man, if you made it to this point, appreciate you. I broke down a whole bunch of games, and I'll tag to make sure y'all can get there quicker and easier. But, yeah, you already know. Follow me at Rojas Talks Tampa on Twitter, at 941 Media on X. Appreciate you.